And I think tonight's class, we're going to focus in a lot on ChatGPT in terms of seeing how we can use it as that assistant in what it is that we're doing to kind of alleviate some of that. So that way, moving forward, when it comes down to like our content creation, just for example, our emails, things like that, that we need to focus on in terms of the marketing. Because like I tell business owners all the time, we're great at what we do business wise. However, a lot of times if we're not making the sales that we want, the issue is not the product or the service. Sometimes the issue is the marketing aspect of it. So how do we look at where we are marketing wise to kind of get our business out there in front of people, but then at the same time, do it in a strategic way where it's not overwhelming to the point where now I got a whole nother job to do on top of everything else I have going on. So my hope for tonight is being able to go through ChatGPT, kind of show you guys some tips, things that I do to kind of streamline my processes, to help kind of alleviate some of the stressors as far as the content creation, the staying on task with emails, or even email newsletters, to stay in communication with clients and providing new information about services or products that I have or whatever, and being able to do it in a more streamlined and more effective way, that it doesn't become a whole nother job on top of everything else that I have going on. So we're going to jump right in and actually get started. So again, thank you all for actually being on this tonight. I am very mindful of your time. Trust me, the group already knows when I say 7, we start on time and it finishes in an hour at 8 o'clock. So trust me, my job is not to keep you here longer than you need to be, but at least be able to have you get as much information as you need while we are here. So for those of you who don't know who I am, or who is the first time that you're actually here, I am Patricia Lorenzo. I am a branding and marketing consultant. I help small businesses create amazing brands for their business, whether it's through graphic design, web development, and for the last year, I have been working on AI, the AI technology, and helping you in reference to that as well. So for tonight, we are going to get into ChatGPT, which is now your new assistant. So if you can do me a favor in the chat, if you can just let me know. And I believe it was Jonathan Dotson. Thank you so much for your comment. I did see what you were working on in reference to the project that you have going on. So thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you so much for sharing the website as well. So if you can do me a favor in the chat, just let me know if you are familiar with ChatGPT by just putting a yes in there. No, if you are not, never used it before, heard about it, been afraid of it. All right, awesome. All right, cool. Cool. All right, so for the most part, everybody's pretty much familiar. Sabrina, no problem. You don't have to have used it before. I am going to show you how to use it tonight. Donna always got to throw in the extra. Yes, lowercase.
Can I ask you
a
question?
Sure.
So I know you do a service and maybe most persons here as well, but like mine is a product. Can we?
It's
There you
gonna
go.
apply. Yeah. So my goal for tonight is that it is interactive, because it is a small group, which I'm grateful for. So if you have a question or a prompt you want me to tweak specific towards your business, just so you can see how the output comes out, I'll be more than happy to do that as we go through ChatGPT, so you can kind of get a feel, and we'll kind of play around like that. I do have some prompts that I've already created, but I can also kind of tweak it to fit your actual business so that way you can have an idea of how you can use it moving forward. Because the whole key with ChatGPT is the prompting. The more detailed you are in terms of providing it information, the more detailed it will give you back the information you're looking for. If you're not very detailed, it's going to give you some basic generic. Not that it won't help, but you really want something that is going to be detailed for your actual business. So I am going to, let me pull it up right now. All right, let me share my screen. All right. If you could just put a 1 in the chat, let me know that you see my screen. Now, I do know that we have some authors in the group. So the first one that I am going to do, I'm going to focus on a prompt specifically for authors. And this is pretty much, again, we're going through the marketing aspect. So when you're working with ChatGPT, I like to be friendly with Chat as if I was talking to an assistant that was sitting in front of me. So so this is my first chat prompt that I'm actually going to put in there. And so there are two versions of ChatGPT. It's the paid version and the free version. The free version is limited in terms of some of the things that you can do. However, you can still put a prompt in there and it will give you back some information. The main difference is that with the paid version, you are able to create, they have now what's called projects, which is in this area here, where as before, whenever you create a prompt, it will give you a whole feed all along the side here of all the prompts that you've created over a period of time, and it'll break it down, I believe, by months, right? Now you can actually create projects, and then it's like a folder where you can combine all of the similar prompts or things that you've worked on all in under one folder. So now it's easier to kind of manage and easier to look for. In addition to that, you do have the section with the paid version where you're able to connect other GPTs there. So for example, I have Dolly, which is an image creator. You can also connect your Canva. So you can put a prompt to create a flyer for you in ChatGPT, which will connect to your Canva account. So it does have some benefits in terms of the paid version, but it doesn't mean that the free version is still not effective. It very much is. Okay. So the first prompt that I'm going to do is, hello, ChatGPT. I am an author looking to boost my Instagram presence and engage more effectively with my audience. My genre is romance, and I want to connect with readers who enjoy heartfelt and emotive stories. I need help developing a content strategy that includes 4 main content pillars tailored to my genre and audience. Could you provide a structured plan that includes examples of what to post under each pillar, how often to post, and tips for increasing engagement? Also include any hashtag strategies or tools that might help. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, hit send, and let's see what it actually spits out. So it's given me a very detailed, based on the prompt that I put, is giving me a very detailed output for what I asked it for, right? So content pillars and posting plan. To effectively engage your audience and attract romance readers, your Instagram content should revolve around 4 main pillars. And it gave me the 4. So if you're an author and you're looking to engage on Instagram, it's breaking down exactly what it is that you should do. And you follow the steps. So it's like you're literally talking to a social media content creator, right? And so the first pillar would be storytelling and book insight. So behind the scenes. So, and it gives you ideas of what you can actually create. Purpose, build, anticipation, and emotion connection with your readers, right? Here's some post ideas. So it's giving you some ideas in terms of things that you can post as it relates to the behind the scenes. So snippets or quote from your books with engaging captions, meet the characters. So you can do posts about the different characters in the book without having to be overly detailed so they can purchase it. A day in the life of a romance author. So you can create something like that, whether it's a video or a post. And then mood board features theme, setting, and emotions in your book. Again, giving them a behind the scenes glimpse of the whole process in writing. Posting frequency 2 times per week, engagement tip, and post with a question. Which of my characters would you go on a date with? So again, it's kind of creating that engagement. So before ChatGPT, I would spend hours trying to research, because one thing about marketing is that it's a lot of research involved in trying to find information regarding your actual audience so you know how to market. And then when you do, you're kind of putting stuff out there to see what the response is going to be. And sometimes it takes a lot of posting before you can actually gauge where you are with your audience and what is attracting them. With ChatGPT as now your assistant, you kind of cut that time all the way down because it's giving you a structured plan in terms of how to input the information and then what steps you can actually follow. The second pillar is community and reader engagement, and it gives you a breakdown in reference to that, fostering a personal connection with your audience. It tells you to do polls and quizzes in stories, book club discussion, so you can have ask the reader your thoughts, the readers your thoughts, so you can even have a book club discussion or maybe just a live discussion on the actual book where your audience will ask questions and you'll be able to answer that. Q&A session, and then share fan art, book aesthetics, and reader reviews. Post and frequency, do that 3 times per week, including stories. The third one, romance themed lifestyle and pop culture. So again, trying to around the whole romance theme, you're still trying to engage your audience as well, and it's giving you a breakdown in reference to what you can do for that, and then how often to actually post, right? And then the last pillar is promotion and sales without being salesy. At the end of the day, we're doing all of this to get the sale. That's the whole point. Whether it's a product you're offering or a service that you're providing, ultimately, you want to engage the sale. So how do we do that? Announce the upcoming book release with a countdown, share exclusive book reviews or early chapters. And that's a great way. I often tell authors all the time, do a free chapter that they can pre-read before they actually purchase the book. Behind the scenes of the book cover design or title reveals, and limited time discounts. That one works really great. If you give them a limited time to purchase a discounted version of the book, and then afterwards, letting them know once that time is up, it goes back to regular price. And then it gave some hashtags that can be used whenever you're posting. And then now it gave you the posting schedule. This is just an example, 5 to 6 times per week. Monday, quote from your book about engagement. So it gave you an actual schedule. So you're not trying to figure out what needs to be done, right? And so oftentimes what I'll do is set up a day, let's just say my Friday is my content day, where I'll sit down and go over the schedule. And that's where I'll create these pieces of content that is going to be launched the following week. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell Chat, all right. All right, so I said, hey, Chad, this information is great. Now provide a 30-day calendar in a table format, right? So now I wanted to give me a calendar of all my social media posts for 30 days. And this is especially for those that struggle with posting consistently. So now let's see what it gives me. So analyzing, it's late. She's been working all day. I had her working all week. So she's taking her sweet time. Here we go. All right. So basically, here's my 30-day calendar, content type, and then we have the engagement strategy right here. And it's for 30 days of content. And it breaks it down into a table. So now you know, let's just say you want to use this for the month of March. So you have your entire content already laid out that you can even schedule. And I often tell people, set a day aside that you're just working on just the content and getting it out there. And now, and then scheduling it and then getting it out. So that way, at least you're not burdened with every week or every other day trying to figure out what am I going to post. It's already there. So let's go back here. And it is telling me, yeah, I'm online. All right, any questions?
Question.
Yes.
When is a good time to post? Because for me, I find that when I get to bed is when I think of doing it. And by then I'm thinking people's schedules, you know, so when is a good time to post? And instead of doing like 30-day, can it be done like once a week, twice a week?
Oh, you can determine whatever you want. It's your assistant. So you can just tell your assistant, hey, give me a content calendar for the next 7 days. It doesn't have to be 30 days. Or you can take the 30 days and break it up 7 days at a time. You know, you don't have to do all of it at one time. But in terms of days, let me just say this. There was a time where they would say, okay, it's good to post early in the morning, or it's better to post in the afternoon. I wouldn't get stuck on when to post, especially if you're trying to get a rhythm with posting, period. I would just get in the habit of posting. Whenever that post is, post it. Somebody's going to see it, right? until you kind of get your groove with consistently posting. Then I will kind of dial it back. Now, remember, you can schedule your post. So if you schedule it, you can schedule it at different times. So say, for example, day one, content type is book quote with engagement question. It's just a question. I'm going to post it at 8 o'clock, or maybe 8:30 in the morning. Ask readers which character they related to most on Monday. Tuesday's post, I may post that, try it out at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Wednesdays, I'll try that at 3. In the meantime, what I'm doing, maybe after the first 7 days, I check my analytics on Instagram to see which one had more engagement. What I found for me, because every industry is different, I used to post in the morning. What I started realizing is that when I post after 12 with my content in the afternoon, if I do early afternoon, I seem to have more views on my content than if I do early in the morning. So I started just scheduling stuff for early afternoon. But timing has a lot to do with your industry, your content, and then your followers. You won't really know until you get consistent with posting, checking the analytics to see how people are engaging with your content. If you find that you've posted on Thursday at 6 p.m. and it just seems like a lot of people were drawn to your post, I would try to continue to post around that time. Because clearly it's one or two things. The type of post that you posted, they really, it really caught their attention, or the time that you posted really caught their attention. So you have to kind of play around with it to see which one is going to get more engagement. And I would give it a couple weeks to figure that out. It's not something that you would like figure out right away.
I don't know why it wasn't taken out from yesterday.
That.
Can you repost? Okay.
Absolutely.
Can
I'm a
you
firm believer of reposting. So say, for example, you say, okay, I did a 30-day content calendar. I created it for my business. What I'm going to do is for the month of March, I'm going to post all of these, schedule them and everything, right? And then the month of April, I'm going to repost everything. But what's going to change is I'm going to do it at different times. So instead of scheduling it, like I'll flip the time. So if post number 1, I scheduled it at 8 a.m. Next month, when I repost post number 1, I'm going to schedule it at 6 p.m. So you're not creating new content. We're repurposing all 30 days again, because you're testing to see how it's working. You may want to make some tweaks, but it's not a must, because initially you're just testing it. You just want to see how it's going. And then it kind of gives you an idea after month 2, after the second month, or even the third month of doing that, you'll kind of have a good idea of the posts that are not working. You're not getting any engagement on, and you just eliminate those altogether. And then you kind of figure out the ones that are actually working. But this is something that ChatGPT can help you in curating your content for your business. Any questions? All right.
Quick question.
Sure.
I started to train ChatGPT, but I have changed what I do. Like I'm a bit more precise, and I don't like what it gives me. So will it learn what I want now when I change my prompts?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, in terms of, again, is providing it with as much detail about you. So let me ask you this, in terms of, if you don't mind sharing, like, what would one of your prompts look like that it's not giving you the information that you want?
For example, I I said create a content calendar for 30 days to and give me themes for each week. My audience are professional midlife women who are at crossroad in their life and career. I want to focus on mindset shift, limiting beliefs, and the pain points that women in that age category face.
Okay. The only thing that's missing is who you are, what you do is what's missing.
Okay.
Yeah. So who you are, and then what you do. When you add that, because your prompt is pretty good, right? Because you're telling it exactly who you're targeting. What you can even do is you can even like share a link to your Instagram. If, for example, you're trying to get more engagement on Instagram, or if it's your Facebook, you can share your Facebook link on there as well. So you can share those links. Hey, my Instagram link is this. Can you evaluate my Instagram page and also provide some key areas or things that I can tweak or improve on my Instagram in order to get the engagement that I need for the women that I'm trying to target. So as you do that, it'll learn you. Now, the other thing is, there's nothing wrong in letting chat know, thank you for the information that you've provided, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for. I need you to provide more concise and detailed information and a breakdown, more of a breakdown in terms of the content. So again, you're treating chat as an assistant that you're paying for that's sitting in front of you. So if your assistant, you ask your assistant to do something and they came into your office and what they're giving you is not actually what you want, you're going to tell your assistant, thanks for what you did so far, but this is actually what I'm looking for. I need you to go back and correct that. You're doing the same thing with ChatGPT.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Is this stuff legal? Because this is too good to be true.
It is legal.
Isn't that, remember when in the days in college, plagiarism, this ain't it?
So here's the thing.
Tell me, because I try not to wear that orange suit.
No, and it's nothing like that.
Okay.
ChatGPT, the way to look at it, it's like another version of it's Google on steroids,
Okay.
essentially. So you remember how before we would have to Google everything. Now it just seems like Google is taking a back seat to everything. I don't even go on Google anymore to look for stuff.
Right.
Right? And it's so when you look at this, the information that it's pulling
Oh
is
my God.
information that in the past we would have Googled. We would have
Right.
Googled content calendar. You know, I need a 30-day content calendar. Now, Google is going to give us back a generic content calendar that we have to now tweak and figure out the content. Market research is things that are available, but you have companies that sells you that information. ChatGPT just has access to all this information, is able to spit out to you. So you're fine in terms of ever having to wear a orange suit. You won't need that. You know, but it does provide you the information that you need in order to do what it is that you need to do.
Okay. Could you show how to schedule
How to schedule on Instagram?
anywhere? I didn't know that was a feature.
On Instagram, it is. Let me, I don't know if I can do it from the desktop. Let me, I know on the phone I can, but let me go to my, you know what? Let's do this. Since we're on, I'm gonna ask chat.
Because if I can learn how to schedule, I think that would, whew, that would be that breathing moment that I can create it whenever and then send it at a better time than at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah. All right. So I just asked, hey, chat, can you give me a step-by-step instructions on how to schedule my social media posts on Instagram? Let's see what it comes back.
No way. I'm gonna be so smart after this.
Okay. So you can do it from the Meta Business Suite, which is business.facebook. So this, I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. So here's your step-by-step guide in order to doing it, because you know Facebook and Instagram are connected. So when you do it from the Meta Business Suite, you'll connect your Instagram account, and then you'll be able to you go to the planner and then be able to create your post there. So you can do your image, carousel, or video. Okay, so I'll email that to you. So you'll have your step-by-step.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So we did that. The other one that I wanted to do is here's another one. Let's do this. And again, the more detailed you are, the better the output is going to be. So this one is, hello chat. I'm an author looking to increase my book sales to 300 copies per week. My book is a science fiction novel targeted at young adults. I currently have a website, a modest following on social media, and I listed the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And my book is available on Amazon and in a few local bookstores. I've received some positive reviews, but need help maximizing their feedback and increasing visibility. Could you create a detailed step-by-step marketing plan that includes online and offline strategies, promotional tactics, and any useful digital marketing tools? Also, I would appreciate advice on how to better engage with my audience on social media and any specific advertising strategies that could help me reach my weekly sales goal. So one of the things that I really like is you can get a detailed plan if you're struggling with hitting certain financial goals, right? So let's just say, regardless to whatever the business, service, product that you have, and you want to reach a certain financial goal, you can ask chat to give you a plan of action that you can begin to put in place to help you reach those goals. Because sometimes we might be doing some of the things, but then when we see what the outcome, what it actually outputs, we're realizing there are some pieces that we're missing and why we're not reaching those financial goals that we're trying to reach. So let's see from here what it's going to give me back. All right. So the online strategy, because remember, I asked it to give me online and offline strategies in order to reach this 300 copies sold per week, right? So the online strategy, the first thing it told me to do was to optimize your website for sales. In any business, we should all have a website that people are going to go to, even if you have a brick and mortar. It's still important because nowadays, before people, whenever they're interested about any product or service, they're always going to go to your website. They're going to see your website, your social media, just to see your how to get in contact with you and learn more about your business, right? So the first thing it tells me to do is to optimize, create a compelling landing page, a high quality book cover image, and it's giving me tips. So now, even if I have it, it's a great checklist to see if I meet everything it's telling me here. So at least I have a framework and an idea of things that I can look at to see, okay, where did I probably miss it? And where is it probably hindering me from reaching those financial goals? So a gripping book blurb and an excerpt from the first chapter that people can download, testimonial or reviews of my book, a clear buy now button linking to Amazon or local bookstore, a limited time discount or bonus, implement an email capture system, start a blog section. And then now leveraging social media, it gives me some ideas of how I can leverage social media. And remember, in the prompt before, we talked about the creating the content for social media and whatnot. So character introduction, memes, and related sci-fi content. So all of that, it breaks it down. And then it gives me the frequency for the content, engagement topics. So far, we already know in order to reach this goal of 300 copies of the book per week, we already see that 1, we need a strong website, 2, engagement on social media. If we're not already doing those 2 things, it's going to hurt our sales. We're leaving money on the table. Okay. The other thing is advertising and promotional tactics. Now, Amazon ad strategy, we can actually do the paid ad, and it also gives you a budget that you can start off with if the resources are limited. So it's saying start with a $10 to $15 a day, monitor performance, and then adjust from there. So this is good too. If, say, for example, you're like, look, I'm not familiar with doing any of this, but at least you have a framework when you're sitting with someone to say, look, this is for my Amazon ad strategy. What I want to do is focus on my sci-fi readers. Here are some similar books in the industry that are similar to mine. And then here's some relevant keywords that go along. And then also, this is the budget that I want to stick at before I make any adjustments. So now when you're sitting with a content creator or a social media manager, you're able to give them some clear direction as far as what you would like to see. And then they can also provide their input, but at least you're going in a little, more informed than you were before. And then of course it breaks down the Facebook ads, things like that. And then book promotion websites, books that you can, instead of just on Amazon, there are other websites that you can actually post a book on. Influencer and blogger outreach. So you can reach out to influencers, bloggers, get on podcasts. I know it doesn't mention it here, but podcast interviews about the book. And then some offline, of course, bookstore and library events, conventions related to the books, school and book club outreach. And then it gives you your tools for automation. So it's giving you those clear direction as far as what it is that you need to do, and then how to implement some of this stuff. And even if you don't want to implement it and you have the resources to hire someone to do it, you know exactly what to ask for. Because one of the things that I have to say is so frustrating is when people will pay for services, don't get the results that they want, and they solely rely on whatever that person is telling them that they need to have done. And I said this a couple weeks ago in one of our last Zooms, was that it's very important that you know about your marketing, your book, your industry before you sit down with a professional and ask them for help in terms of whatever it is that you're going to pay them for. Even if you're not going to do the work, that's fine. But you have a responsibility to know what is going to be involved in it before you sit down and ask them to help you with it. So, weekly sales goal breakdown: to hit 300 per week, target multiple revenue streams, because again, we're not solely focusing on Amazon alone, right? So Amazon sales via ads, 150 copies. Social media organic and email campaigns, 75 copies. Bookstore, 50 copies. Blog reviews, book blogger reviews, influencer features, 25 copies. So when you break it down like that, you see how you can actually meet this 300 copies per week goal. Is it going to require work? Absolutely. Is it possible? Absolutely. Any questions?
I have a question, but I just really want to know if you can you share these prompts like via chat or email?
I will email it. I'll email it to you
Yeah.
guys. Yeah.
And I will say, as it relates to the marketing plan, I mean, I just know from my experience, and this is something that I always tell clients when I'm talking to them about marketing, is that marketing doesn't always produce immediate results. So you got to keep working at it. And just like it said in one of the areas here, you got to assess it and then adjust.
Correct.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always going to be an adjustment because you don't know, you're still trying to get the attention of your audience, right? And I always tell people McDonald's still run ads, despite the fact that we're familiar with McDonald's. But they still run ads. And it's because they know if they have a new item on their menu, to get that audience's attention to that new item, they're going to run ads about it. And it might be for a limited time, but they still have to do it. So it takes, on average in marketing, they say it takes 7 touch points before someone actually engages with whatever it is that you're selling or whatever it is that you're providing. It
Right.
takes 7 touch points. So that means 7 different types of engagement before someone actually sees or pays attention to whatever it is that you're doing. So if you've only posted for a week, and that's why the consistency is important, because whenever you fall off, you're starting all over again. And you got to do a whole nother round of 7 before you get people's attention and them interacting with your content. So I would definitely say in terms of building that consistency, but if you have a schedule, set aside a day, you create your content, have all of that planned, it makes the process a little bit easier in terms of putting the content out there. So any other questions in reference to the prompting? Or anyone wants me to try something with your business?
Like to see, Pat, is using prompts, because I think you sent it on the email, using prompts to produce an image,
All right,
to
so
produce images. And can those, going back to I think it was Donna that asked the question earlier, is using those images like, okay, like I mean, I'm sure you can use them in branding stuff, but could you use them like on a landing page or on your website, like if it's an AI generated image?
So AI generated images are not copyrighted. So anyone can use them. If you create it, you use it, it's yours. There is no copyright attached to it because it is AI generated. So even I use, for example, I use Midjourney. Midjourney is one of the ones that I use. So when I go on there, and I'm going to show you real quick, just some stuff, for example, and then I'll go back to chat to show you how I create images in chat. I don't do it often because I prefer Midjourney, but this is a whole nother class. But Midjourney is one of these AI platforms that is strictly for image creation. So when you need images for your content, whatever it is that you're working on, Midjourney is where you would actually go to create unique content. Before, as a designer, I would go through stock images. So all these different stock image platforms to find an image in order for me to use on a design that I was working on, which of course will have copyright. You want to make sure it's a copyright image and this and that or whatever. And so then I would have to purchase it in order to actually use it, right? Now with Midjourney, I cancel all my stock image subscriptions. Because now with the one, and for this one, I do use the paid for Midjourney, but I use the one for $10 a month. But with this is where I create a lot of the images that I use now on like a lot of projects that I work on. So this is like your explorer part where you kind of explore, these are images other people created, right? So what I tend to do is I'll come on here when I go in there and kind of see what other people are creating, see if there's anything that actually stands out that grabs my attention. Today, I was actually working on some Black History Month images. So what I did was I did African American art, right? To kind of play around with it and see what they had. And again, these are images that are available on here, other people created. And there's no copyright because they're all AI created, right? So, for example, I wanted to create something for Black History. And let's just say this was the one that I saw initially. I saw this one. What I did was I really liked this on a greeting card to create like a greeting card. So what I did was I went here, I copied the prompt because it does give you the actual prompt that was actually used. I go here to my section where it says create. I'm going to show you what I just copied the prompt. And then these were my version using the same prompt that was created. So you can do that as well. And it kind of gave you like different ones. Now you can take the same prompt in Midjourney, kind of tweak it. So then I started playing with tweaking it, and I started creating other types of images from that one prompt. So then I did a couple sitting on a couch. Then I did a dad with a son at a barbershop. This one, another one, I just regenerated that. This one, you know, Black woman oil painting, her with praying hands. So got it, and then just kept creating different versions of it. So if you're working on something and you need images, there is AI available that you can create images for whatever it is that you're working on. So we're going to go back here, and I am going to go to, I did one before. So this is one that I created, and of course it uses DALL-E. right? I'm gonna take this one, copy. So what'll happen is, here's Dolly here. Dolly is like one of these GPTs within ChatGPT. Now, if you don't have the paid version, you won't have it, but you can get Dolly separate. I like it in ChatGPT because it's the only place I'm going to actually use it. I'm going to paste the prompt from my other one here, and I'm going to tweak it a little bit. So I'll say, create an illustration of a Black woman with, I want to say, long braided hair. Braided hair, eyes closed in a serene expression. She is wearing a bright yellow dress with thin straps holding a bouquet of, I'm going to say, white flowers, white roses. The background is right, the overall mood reflective and somber, conveying a message of sympathy and remembrance, right? Again, it's just a prompt, and I'm using Dolly to create the image. And that's what it created. And then all I would do, if you're like, oh, this is not really giving me what I want, I'll just tell it is a good
I heard
start.
you were giving out perfect husbands.
I was, you need me to create something for you. Because we create them over here too.
That's beautiful. That is
I could
nice.
create a man, honey. All right, I'm gonna say this is a good start. However, I would like hair in a bun. Let's see. Now to give me another image. So even if it's stuff that you don't, it's not quite doing it or whatever, you keep talking to it until you finally get what you want. It may take a couple tries. So now her hair is in a bun.
Can you also tell it, like, if you want something more realistic or more portrait-like?
So with Dolly, it's always going to give you more of the illustration, kind of cartoonish type or whatever. Midjourney is going to give you more of the realistic, right? So if you want realistic people, Midjourney, I'm gonna show you the ones like these. This is not real people. This AI. This AI.
That's your disclosure.
That's why, listen. Okay. So if you want more realistic, I was playing around with food, right? AI. It's going to give you the Midjourney is going to give you that realistic look and feel that you want. Dolly is not. Let me see. This one is another. So for example, this AI. These are AI. If you've seen some of the images that I use on the thumbnail on my YouTube channel, I created them to put on the thumbnail. The beautiful thing about AI is that, for example, a lot of this you can use. I was working family, this was during the holidays. And here's the thing with our art, images, things like that, it's hard to find culturally diverse images that we can use on our content. I wanted a Black Santa Claus. So during the holidays, I was creating Mr. and Mrs. Claus, honey, you know. So, and to me, it was like, all right, we can definitely work with that. So it was giving me that feel. Realistic looking people, Midjourney is where you want to go. And again, you do the prompts that you want, and you're able to create like some really great images using Midjourney. This was like another one I did for like a greeting card collection for the holidays and things like that.
So
I
Midjourney
did it.
is prompts that like graphic artists or designers or whatever have been taken to create the images with.
Yes. So Midjourney is where you're going to create those images. The prompts that you use, for example, this one I said create an illustration showing only the forehead up to of a beautiful African American woman. She should have voluminous, curly, natural hair, styled in a high puff, wearing bright, vivid purple headband with a metallic gold tribal scarf, right? That's what it gave me. But I put illustration. The prompting is everything. Let me go down to, and I'm going to show you how you can take, like, say you see an image, you're like, oh my God, I really like this image. Let me see.
I'm just looking at these images and they're so realistic. And I'm like, okay, how do these faces not belong to an actual person?
Exactly.
Right?
Right, Donna, right? I'm just like, wait.
Yeah.
But here's the beautiful thing about it, and I'm gonna do a class on this in maybe in a couple months because I'm still working on it. But the cost of photo shoots. So it's another AI that I'm getting into now where you can take your images of yourself. You will need maybe about 30 of your image of yourself, different poses, and create an AI of you, an AI photo shoot in any setting, any background, any clothes, outfits that you want, and it looks exactly like you.
My Lord. Wow.
Yes.
That's
And
scary.
so now it cuts the expense of photo shoots because now you can literally put in the prompt, put yourself in a setting, and it'll spit back exactly what you're asking for. And it's your face, your body, everything. So yeah, a
When are
lot of
they
these.
gonna when are they gonna get the fingers together?
So that's Midjourney has gotten better because that was one of the things. The
Yeah.
fingers were always kind of off. It still is, but not like it was in the beginning. It
Yeah,
has
people used to have 7 fingers.
7,
One
8
hand.
fingers, child, a hot mess.
Or you had a dude's hand on a woman.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It was that. Guys, I know it's
Your
after
foot.
8, and I totally understand if you have to leave out. I'm gonna keep recording and I'll send a replay if you do have to go. But I'm gonna do one last thing before we go. I'm gonna show you how. I was trying to find one of the other images that I've used. How I can use, okay. Let's just take, all right, this guy, AI image, right? We're gonna save him. I'm gonna go to chat create a new one. And I'm gonna say, hey, chat.
Do you feel that giving it a greeting and saying thank you like you're talking to an assistant gives you better result? Maybe
I
not
don't know
better
if it gives
result,
me
but
better results, but it's like, I just feel like it just makes the flow better,
okay.
right? In terms of the communication, the response, the back and forth and whatnot. So, it don't kill me to do it. So I'm like, let me just treat it like
Right.
an actual assistant. So I'm gonna say, hey, chat, using the image attached, can you please provide a detailed prompt that I can use in Midjourney? So these are in the instance that you have a photo and you want to create a prompt for. You don't know what the prompt would be. You don't know how to even describe it. So you're going to upload the image and ask it to create a detailed prompt that you're going to then use that prompt in ChatGPT to create more images like that. And it gives you the actual prompt. So it says, here's your Midjourney prompt: a cheerful black male baker with short curly hair and a well-groomed beard, wearing a crisp white chef's uniform with a clean apron, standing confidently in a professional bakery. He is holding a fresh baked rustic sourdough loaf with golden. It gives you the details that I would not have been able to describe like this. And again, it goes back to the more detailed you are, the more effective your prompting is going to be. So now, even if I wanted to create more men like this, or maybe instead of a man, create a woman, I'm going to take this prompt. Go back here and paste it here. And I'm going to say a cheerful Black female baker with long curly hair, wearing Chris Chef's apron, clean bakery. She is holding a fresh baked rustic loaf. Behind her. So I'm just going to change the gender and we're going to see what actually comes up. The image has a sharp focus. High detail. All right, cool. So now we're creating. Let's see what it does.
So I know when you did the Canva thing, you were talking about how Canva, you can like select your brand colors and fonts and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Is there a way in ChatGPT to kind of allow it to know your brand or your brand voice or that kind of thing?
Not yet in terms of the colors, right? The only thing in terms of your branding you would be able to do would be to tell it your color palette. What I've had to do was like, because mine has the turquoise and then maybe a soft turquoise. I have like the dark color and then the lighter color. So I've had to give it that description instead of what I would like is for it to get to the point where we can just put the hex codes in there. It hasn't gotten to that point yet. to actually give it, but it is, I have to say, it is close enough that it does a very good job, because even like some of the images that I created, because I use a lot of like home office designs, like here, the turquoise, all I put was the turquoise. The turquoise is one of my brand colors. Now, it may not be the exact hex code, but it's well enough that I can still use it.
But can you give it like the description, like you were saying, tell it who you are? Is there a way you can build who you are from your brand perspective? Like you work in a specific industry and your target audience is this, that, and the other thing.
No,
Okay.
and no, the reason why I say that is because with Midjourney, it's giving you images based on what you're asking it for. So it's not keeping like how ChatGPT keeps a memory of you and the AI is learning your style. This is different because it's going just based on the prompt you put it in. It's not maintaining the style because creatively you're constantly changing styles.
Right. But chat GPT can kind of pick up your style.
Correct.
Okay.
ChatGPT will, you'll start to notice too, the more and more you use it, the more and more it gets familiar. Because like I was doing something where I needed to update my resume and I didn't feel like writing all this stuff and explaining it. And I said, look, I just need to edit my last resume based on this actual position or whatever. And it literally remembered all the stuff that I had on the last resume that I edited in ChatGPT. So it kept memory of it without me asking.
So ideally, could I do something like give it a prompt to write a press release and then say, use the voice and styling on the press release attached and attach something that I wrote myself?
Correct. Yes. Yes.
And it'll kind of mimic that voice and that style.
Absolutely. Because
Okay.
what it'll do with the attachment, which is great, it'll go through, it'll analyze the attachment, it'll understand the voice that you wrote it in, and then now when it spits out the new one, it's going to be in that same voice.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very helpful.
Can we go back to the Midjourney
Yes.
information?
Mhm.
Once you create an image, you can now save that image into your documents?
Absolutely. So now let's just say I want to use this. You see how I have the little plus sign? You're going to click on it. I'm going to click it until I don't see a plus anymore because I want to use the largest resolution, right? I'm going to right click,
Okay.
save image. It saves in my downloads folder right there.
Okay.
Yep. So
You
now
can go through and create many different images.
absolutely whatever your heart's desire, whatever image you're thinking about. Even if you have an image in mind, the Explorer part of Midjourney, you can see what other people are doing. So let's just say you want an image of just randomly.
A praying hand, a lady,
Praying hand.
black female praying hand.
So let's just say African American.
So if you choose one of them and suppose I want to take my picture and put it on that face that they have.
What do you mean?
Oh no, these are just prayer. I meant a female, black female praying like this one on the left.
Like this one? Or this?
No, the lady at the that one.
Yeah. So yeah, so you'll see this, you're like, oh, I really like this this picture. I want to use that. Again, because it's not copyrighted, you can actually use it as is, right?
Okay.
That's not an issue. Or, and then you just double click it, right click, save the image. I'm going to save the image. I'm going to exit out of here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the prompt. And then I'm going to go to create. And I'm going to paste the prompt here, because it'll give me an image similar to what I already liked. So let's just see what comes up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it gives me different versions. So like, I love this one right here. This one is beautiful,
Yes.
you know? So it's not the same exact one. So for me, even when I go to explore and I'll see some, I use those as like just a framework, right? I won't use images that I find on the Explorer part, only because I want something unique for what I'm using it for. I don't want to use somebody else's, because all of these are somebody else's image, but I'll copy the prompt and recreate one for myself.
So where would you find the prompt?
So the prompt is when, for example, the prompt is right here. So when you go to the when you go to any image that you may find, and
Uh-huh.
then the prompt is here, or you can just go here, copy.
Wait a minute, I'm not seeing what you're saying. I see the, oh, my screen was, that's why. Okay. Go
Okay.
back again.
So you'll go on the image,
Uh-huh.
right? The prompt is here already.
Oh,
Open up the
okay.
image, it's right here. Or you can go where these three lines are,
Uh-huh.
and it says copy.
Uh-huh.
Here's the prompt.
Oh, okay.
So you just copy the prompt. So now it's copied to my clipboard. And then I'm going to go to create. And then I'll paste it here. And then I'll create another set of images.
Oh,
And that's it. It takes
cool.
minutes, but then you're able to create your own unique images.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
These are all different versions using the same prompt to create images.
Okay.
Okay. So chat is not going to give you these realistic ones. It'll give you more illustrative ones.
Mhm.
I prefer realistic ones unless it's something where I need to do illustrations, but even then, I prefer the realistic ones. So,
Cool.
yeah. But AI is so much to learn with it. It's so much between that and ChatGPT. Creating your own the prompts if you don't know what to put in a prompt to create an image, you know. There's just so much involved in it. But you know, for the purpose of tonight, of course, you know, the focus was really on creating those the prompts for ChatGPT, and then really be able to take those strategies and start implementing them. Any other questions before we get out of here?
I think one of those ladies are my family members. I mean, those faces are so real. Now,
I'm
this is good
sure.
stuff, though.
Good, 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 good. So what I'll do is I will create the replay and I'll send it out to you guys. So at any time you can go back and go through it. But please take advantage of at least if nothing else, ChatGPT, really begin to work it with creating your content calendars, creating your posts and your social media stuff. So that way you guys can start getting engaged, a lot more engagement on your posts. So that way you can get to the point where you're selling. Because I want to hear that you guys are selling like crazy and things are just flying off the shelf. All right. So if we don't have any questions Thank you all so much. Y'all stuck it in with me tonight. I am so grateful.
Thank you.
I am so grateful. I hope you all are walking away with something tonight that you can definitely implement. But definitely look out for the next email regarding the next class that I am going to do. And I will, guys, keep you all posted on things moving forward with everything. Just to make a note, and I will send it in the email tomorrow. I did start a group on WhatsApp so we can stay connected throughout the week, just for encouragement and support for entrepreneurs. If you want, I'll send you the information. It'll be in the email when I send the replay. We can connect on that throughout the week. So that way, at least if you all are working on stuff, you have questions, you can post it in there. That way we all stay connected, support and encourage one another as we continue on this entrepreneurial journey. And then for the month of March, I am focusing that month specifically to authors, really marketing and sales strategy, things of that nature, because I know that we have, from the responses that I got from quite a few of you, I know that we have a lot of authors who have books and are working on other book projects and stuff like that. So we're going to focus on the marketing, the website, social media, the publishing, layout, Amazon, uploading it to Amazon, things of that nature, things that you would need to know. Claudette, I'll be reaching out to you in regards to that because I would love your collaboration with that as well. Claudette is one of the publishers that we have here, the writing coach that we have in the group that I'm going to be pulling on her. Ebony is another one who is actually a publisher as well. I'm going to be pulling on her as well, but it's going to happen in the month of March. So anyone who is an author, if you know anyone, please send them over here. In the meantime, if you guys at any point have questions in regards to your business, feel free, shoot me an email, hit the reply button. Hey, Pat, I need help with this. Can you help me? I'll at least try to direct you as best as I can. But thank you all so much for staying with me. This is the first night that we've gone over, but I think it was actually well worth it. So until next week, you'll get an update on what we're going to be doing next week. You guys have a great evening.